You're looking at these auction results, 4,000, 6,000, 9,000, 16,750. And some of you are thinking, this is crazy. This is pricing collectors out. This isn't what PiggyBanx used to be. But I'm going to say something that might hit a little different today. PiggyBanx did not lose the plot. They did not abandon their collectors, and they didn't even get greedy. PiggyBanx went elite. That's what happened. And if you're frustrated right now, you're not wrong. You're just looking at it like it's still collectible, and it's not. It's not. This is no longer about access. It's no longer about wide availability. No, it's about positioning. It's about prestige. It's about controlled scarcity. 26 pieces, individual auctions. That's no artificial ceiling, no artificial floors. It's not a drop. It's a signal. It's a signal. The studio just told its market exactly where it believes it belongs. And today, we're going to break down what that means for collectors and for the ecosystem as we shift towards a more premier prestige art card ecosystem. This isn't the end of collecting. It's just the beginning of an entirely different game. So what actually happened? 26 pieces auctioned individually in 30-minute increments, and the clearing prices range from $4,000 to $17,000. That's price discovery. That's what that is. That's no ceiling, no floor. The market is going to set its price. And when you remove those ceilings and you let the market speak, you find out what the pieces are actually worth. Auctions don't inflate value. Remember that. What it does is it reveals it. It reveals the value. Now, most people are still thinking in a collectible mindset. Collectibles are all about participation and access, about owning something within close reach. Elite markets are different. They're about signal and scarcity and separation. Not everyone is supposed to own every piece. That's not the way it works. And discomfort is not the same thing as being wrong. I think people are thinking that PiggyBanx is less accessible. It's just not true. It's arguably more accessible than it's ever been. Everybody has a shot. Now, whether you have the means and whether you want to employ those means towards getting a piece might be a totally different story. It doesn't mean it's not accessible. It is actually accessible to everyone, whether it be a lottery or auction, and he's still giving away pieces. I just saw a free piece go up today. But what's happening is the early community vibes are shifting. Casual collecting is becoming harder. That's a fact. Casual collecting is becoming harder. And frustration is understandable, but it does not mean the model is broken. Something is clearly happening, and we need to dissect. Now, I'm just full of guesses. This is what I think it means. I think PiggyBanx is moving to a prestige ecosystem. Now, what is that? It's sort of a prestige shift. They're moving away from lower entry barrier. They're moving away from volume model. They're moving away from wide access. That's what's happening. You can see it. The signals are all there. They're going to start enforcing scarcity. The last drop was 26 pieces. When was the last time you saw a 26-piece drop? I haven't seen one in a while, honestly. Auction-based discovery. You see them testing different price points. It's to reveal the true value of these pieces. We've known for a long time they weren't worth $750. Nobody wanted to say it. Why? Because they liked getting the pieces for $750. That's not the way it works. That's not how you go to a prestige ecosystem. It's uncomfortable. We don't like it, but you need to transition. Fewer pieces, higher impact. That's what PiggyBanx is about, right? Impact. Always has been. Brand elevation over access. That's the key. This is the signal I believe PiggyBanx is sending. Brand elevation over access. We have to recognize that that's what's happening. And we have to shift our mindsets. It's no longer casual retail entry. It's no longer spread the capital wide and chase every piece you see. No, you have to be much more strategic about it. You have to position yourself. You can't be reactive. You can't get caught up in the hype. You have to understand strategically how to gain entry into the ecosystem. That's the only way to win this. Unless you just have the deepest pockets out there. I'm not one of those people. I want to play in the ecosystem, and I understand in this model I have to be extremely selective. I have to find the opportunities when they present themselves, whether that be on secondary, whether it be via lottery, whether it be via auction. I have to understand what I'm trying to collect and how I want to do it. I have to be disciplined. I have to mature with the brand I have to elevate myself and elevate the understanding of what's happening. I have to recognize the shift, and I need to pivot myself. Now, this is leading to frustration and shock and debates. I see it everywhere. What that is, that's transition energy. I feel it. I see it. I've gone through those same phases. You can call it the 7 phases of depression. I don't know. It's frustration, shock, and debate. It's what's happening. It is transition to a prestige ecosystem. I can recognize it a mile away. You all know what's happening. You just don't want to accept it yet. But those that do will win. Every luxury brand goes through this phase. Every single one has gone through this phase. It's a blip on a radar. As you experience this over the next 6 months, 12 months, however long this transition takes, as you see collectors and consumers adjust to this reality and do what they will, whether it be sell their pieces or add to their collection or debate or whatever happens, recognize that this is just a singular moment in time. It is a fantastic evolution of the brand. It's short-term friction that's going to create long-term stability for PiggyBanx and collectors. That's my opinion. But most importantly, it's our mindset that needs to change. And here's exactly. Last night was not about $16,750 pieces. It was not about who won and lost. It's not even really about accessibility. It was about identity. Who is PiggyBanx? When 26 individual pieces clear between $4,000 and $17,000 in true auction format, that's not randomness. That's not hype. That's not the market doing anything but assigning status. And when the market assigns status, the ecosystem changes. That's what's happening. We've talked about it. You can resist it, you can complain about it, or you can recognize it. Because brands do not accidentally move into prestige territory. That doesn't happen by chance. They move there when scarcity holds, demand strengthens, conviction shows up in capital. People start putting their money towards assets that they really want. That's what happens. People are showing that this is in high demand, and they're showing it through their wallets. It's no longer casual collecting. There's been a narrative around this for some time, and I think collectors have ignored it. This is strategic positioning on the part of PiggyBanx. And strategic positioning requires a completely different mindset as a collector. Discipline over impulse. Discipline over impulse. Concentration over scatter. Patience over reaction. Some collectors undoubtedly are going to feel left behind. Others are going to adapt. The ones who adapt are the ones who will build legacy positions, not just purchases, but presence within the ecosystem. This is what PiggyBanx does better than anyone. They track their collectors. They track and understand how present they are in the ecosystem. So the real question is not whether PiggyBanx went elite. The question is whether you, as a customer and consumer, are ready to think at that elite level. Because identity shifts do not wait. They reward those who recognize it early. My advice, chase smart. All love. It's good to be back.